Hi, friends. This is Kim Skorupski. Welcome to another episode of the Faculty Factory podcast. And in this fact chat today, I was thinking about succession planning. Recently, my boss, our Vice Dean for Faculty, Dr. Janice Clements, reminded all of us that we need to be thinking about succession planning. Her office has grown quite a bit over the years. Under our Vice Dean for Faculty, there are 4 offices. I think I've mentioned them before. The Office of Women in Science and Medicine, the Office of Part-Time Faculty, Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and then the Office of Faculty Development. And she also has a component of the Registrar's Office. We have an Assistant Dean for Faculty Information. And then we have a master's level person who is a Director of Faculty Resources. So we have a number of moving parts that fall under our Vice Dean for Faculty. And there's a nice group of folks who are advancing in age and thinking about their next step, their transitioning, and their next chapter for retirement. So I think it's on her mind, and it was a reminder for us that we need to think about succession. And in fact, a couple of our deans, our senior associate deans, have recently, over the past 2 years, given up their division director titles. So I'm sure, like you, some of the folks who are in your academic affairs and faculty development offices are obviously faculty in other departments, and they have a proportion of their effort spent doing their faculty development roles. So, for instance, our Associate Dean for Professional Development, Dr. Dave Usum, is in neuroradiology, and up until maybe almost 2 years ago now, Dave was the division director for neuroradiology, and he gave that up recently. Similarly, our Senior Associate Dean for Women, Dr. Barbara Fivush, recently gave up her position of division director in pediatrics. So, it got us all thinking about, well, how do you do succession planning when you're in these roles of faculty development? And we've thought about this for a while in terms of involving junior faculty members and maybe mid-career and later career faculty members in faculty development activities. And there are a number of ways we can do that. So we talk about, of course, all of our leadership programs. We have women's leadership programs for junior women, mid-career women, senior women. We have a co-ed junior faculty leadership program and university level leadership program. So the no-brainer is that anybody who's graduated from those leadership programs certainly would be obviously well-suited to give some seminars or workshops or lunch and learns or sessions that are leadership related to other groups, and perhaps undergraduate medical students, graduate students, postdocs, residence fellows, and that sort of thing. So we've talked about, well, let's set up maybe a mechanism where we would reach out to our graduates of our various leadership programs, provide them with opportunities to teach and to develop a package, if you will, of faculty development related offerings. And so that's one way we toyed with how that would work, because of course we wouldn't want to just blindly assign people to go off and do something without some mentorship from us, some coaching, and making sure that they're comfortable and, sharing the same values we have about training and doing development. So we talked about doing that, and then sent out a little tickler email, or just to kind of get a vibe on if our graduates were interested. And we had a handful of people who said, yeah, that would be interesting to me. And then we let it drop, because I think what happened was we just obviously, we didn't have a person dedicated to seeing that process through, because it would involve then, of course, getting everyone together, figuring out who wanted to do what, and then how would you train up that person, and then perhaps monitor them or do a session with them. And it ended up being a lot of effort, I think more than we thought it would be. And then we got into this kind of interesting dynamic about the junior faculty members, as pressed as they are for time. This was going to be, at how we conceived it, an uncompensated effort. So we thought, well, oh my gosh, we feel really torn about this. First of all, yes, they're getting an opportunity to add something else to their toolkit and put in their belt on their CV of a new something new that they can offer for their future development as faculty members, as leaders, as maybe possibly getting into a deanship role at some point in the future. But then you weigh that against the fact that they are already stressed and stretched on time. Could we justify, or would they be able to justify the time uncompensated again to prepare, rehearse, evaluate, and engage in this kind of an activity of offering seminar XYZ? So we kind of let that fall by the wayside, and we periodically wrap around to that issue again, that it just seems to all of us, an obvious situation where you have people who've already essentially drunk the Kool-Aid. They get leadership. They participated in the process. So surely they'd be willing to spread the word, right? So we have to, I think, revisit that on the heels of our boss telling us to start thinking about succession planning. And then the other way that we talk about, or we think about succession planning, is that the faculty themselves can, of course, initiate possibilities or initiate opportunities, where many times, I'm sure the same with you, faculty, we always, end of our leadership programs or seminars or workshops with, hey, if you go to another institution or you're traveling or you have colleagues around the country and they're doing A, B, C, and you think, darn, why doesn't Hopkins do that? Just let us know and we'll be happy to develop that or work with you to figure that out. So when we do that, some people take us up on that and say, well, gosh, why don't we do this? And then, of course, the obvious response is, well, sure, why not? You want to help us? So along those lines, we had faculty members who were trained in mindfulness-based stress reduction. So our Dr. Netta Gould in psychiatry here was doing mindfulness for patients. And so her mentor said, well, why don't you do it for faculty? So a couple years ago, she reached out to our office and we have her now. She is our School of Medicine wide mindfulness-based stress reduction instructor. So she offers her MBSR training. I think it's 8 or 10 weeks long now. I think she offers that 3 or 4 times a year. And a portion of her salary is now paid to deliver that programming. We have other faculty members who enjoy teaching writing. So we have this Dr. Sarah Poynton, who now teaches a biomedical and scientific writing course. And then because we have so many faculty members who, for whom English is not their native language, she's developed a component of the biomedical and scientific writing course for non-native English speakers. And that's, again, another 10-week course where she works people through from beginning of manuscript production to the end, with the end goal of being a deliverable product to a journal. Then another faculty member, after our in all of our leadership programs, we do the Myers-Briggs. So I'm certified in the Myers-Briggs. And so after that, she said, have you ever done the Enneagram? And I had actually taken that through a little mediation course. They offered the Enneagram. And so I did it. But of course, I'd never been trained in that. And she said, well, I'm certified in that. And I said, well, okay, wonderful. Well, why don't you offer a session on the Enneagram? So she'll do that for us this summer. Others have said, from our business school, I teach this finance course, and it's for helping physicians get a handle on their finances personally and building their academic careers. So we have Dr. Yuval Bar-Or from the business school, who now offers financial literacy courses for our physicians. And someone else was doing Tai Chi and yoga, and they wanted to offer that for faculty. So of course, we try to accommodate all those. So that's what, got me thinking about succession planning, where we can reach out from our end to graduates and people who've shown a certain interest in things. So we can reach out to them, and faculty can reach out to us, and we can try to encourage that level of engagement with faculty and faculty development or academic affairs kinds of issues. And I guess until we formalize that or if we're able to offer some kind of remuneration, at least it's opportunities for faculty to dip their toes in the water and see if this kind of work interests them. And then ideally, of course, in the ideal world, if we were to get an endowment or something, that would be wonderful, where we could pay a portion of a lot more faculty's time to offer courses and training and seminars and sessions on various development related activities. And I'm sure, like you at Hopkins, we also work really closely with our human resources office, and we have a talent management and organization development group, and they have a lot of expertise with training as well. But so that's what I've been thinking about lately, succession planning. How do we operationalize that? How do we work with our faculty who are junior level, who have graduated from our programs, who come to us with ideas and are curious about offering something or have seen something else offered elsewhere? And then, of course, we have our retirees or late career faculty members who maybe have always thought they might want to explore something new and might be able to take some time now as they're transitioning into getting away from either clinic time or getting away from grant writing time to work more deliberately with younger faculty on writing papers or specific aims of grants or teaching. So, or maybe older retiring faculty members have read a great book, or they've attended a conference or a seminar and they'd like to develop some courses or faculty development offerings. So there's lots of opportunity, and like anything else, just, limited time and resources sometimes to think about these things or implement them. But we've been thinking a lot about succession planning, and that's just because it was on the top of my head today. Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. The mission of the Faculty Factory is to build and support a community of leaders in faculty development who share tools, resources, wisdom, and encouragement in service to our faculty members, schools, and institutions. We encourage you to go to facultyfactory.org to find out more. Get in touch with me, ask me any questions. Maybe you want to be interviewed on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. We'll see you next time. The Faculty Factory podcast and website is sponsored by the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine Office of Faculty. For more information, visit facultyfactory.org.